In 2021, the Grand Lodge of Missouri celebrates its 200th anniversary with events throughout the year marking the milestone occasions that brought it into existence. Some of these events will be held in St. Louis, very close to the spot where our brothers of 2 centuries ago gathered in a simple, unremarkable room to begin that journey. In 1816, General William Clark of the Lewis and Clark expedition built what was one of only a few brick houses in St. Louis. Clark used the lower floor for business. Missouri Lodge 12, with its Tennessee charter, met in a room on the 2nd story there from the time Clark completed the house until late 1817. Masons described the house as poorly adapted for Masonic purposes and inconveniently located. They approached Brother Thompson Douglas, who was constructing a 2-story building in the center of town, and persuaded him to add an attic which the Masons could use. Were that building standing today where it stood in 1817, at its spot in the center of St. Louis, it would be directly under the gleaming gateway to the West Monument, better known as the St. Louis Arch. Upon its completion, the Masons moved into the room measuring 38 feet on each side to conduct their business. There, they also founded Missouri Royal Arch Chapter No. 1 and, in 1821, organized the Grand Lodge of Missouri, chartering what today is St. Louis, Missouri Lodge No. 1. Frederick L. Billen was raised at the age of 22 in that very room. Born in 1801, Billen lived to be 94 years of age in a life that spanned virtually all of the 19th century. He served as Missouri's Grand Secretary for many years and thoroughly chronicled Missouri Masonry during that time. In his memoirs, he talks about one particular meeting in that 3rd-story room, which he attended on Friday, April 29, 1825. That evening, the young brother, still a relatively new Mason, ascended the creaky wooden stairs, and as he entered the lodge room, he discovered 2 visitors. In Billen's words, "We were honored by a visit from our nation's distinguished guest, our illustrious brother, General Lafayette, on the occasion of his visit to St. Louis, accompanied by his son, George Washington Lafayette, on which occasion they were both duly elected honorary members of our Grand Lodge. The United States had invited the 68-year-old French aristocrat, who had supported our country and commanded American troops in the Revolution, to tour the country." Billen writes, "This room was used for Masonic purposes until the close of the year 1833, when Missouri Lodge No. 1, under the pressure of circumstances, ceased her labors for a time, and the Grand Lodge was removed to Columbia, Boone County." The so-called pressure of circumstances he mentions is a euphemism for the brutal aftermath of the Morgan affair. For 16 years, that nondescript room provided an auspicious venue for the formation of the Grand Lodge of Missouri and served as its Grand Lodge offices. It also saw the formation of Missouri's first lodge, the first Missouri Royal Arch chapter, was a reception room for the great Lafayette, hosted the ceremony honoring him, and saw countless other Masonic ceremonies and events. All this in an attic that was conceived as an afterthought. That little room is graphic proof that it doesn't matter where brothers meet. But what does matter is how Freemasons meet, act, and part. For the Whence Came You podcast, this is Steve Harrison with the Masonic Minute.